Prime Minister's meeting with Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. It was a very good meeting between the two leaders. They reviewed the progress in bilateral relations since the time they last met, which was when Prime Minister had visited Bangladesh. After that, as you know, Sheikh Hasina did come to India for a very short visit. The two leaders reviewed the progress in bilateral relations. Both of them expressed great happiness at the very smooth manner in which the land boundary agreement had been implemented, and they looked forward to the complete implementation of this agreement in the coming months. Also, there was a discussion on connectivity and infrastructure. There was also some discussion on the Sustainable Development Goals, how the Prime Minister said, in fact, that we are very happy that the Sustainable Development Goals have enshrined poverty alleviation at their core, which is exactly what was needed. And there was also a discussion on United Nations Security Council reform, with Sheikh Hasina saying that she fully supports the position that India has taken, that there must be reform of the United Nations Security Council, and the 70th anniversary of the UN affords an excellent opportunity to the international community to effect these long-delayed reforms. There was also some discussion on reforms of the institutions of other institutions of global governance, such as the IMF and the World Bank. After that, as you know, the Prime Minister had a meeting with Mr. Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In particular, the Prime Minister thanked Prime Minister Gonsalves for the leadership he had shown at the time of the text-based negotiations issue which came up in the IGN, and as a result of the initiative taken by countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we were able to get a UNGA decision on having text-based negotiations in the IGN. As you know, that is a decision which was adopted by consensus. There was also discussion on the bilateral relationship. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines expressed his happiness at the assistance that India had provided, and Prime Minister said that we are prepared to further assist the country in capacity building. In fact, there is an invitation to Prime Minister Gonsalves to visit India, and Prime Minister said that he looked forward to that visit, which will happen either late 2015 or early 2016. The roundtable meeting on media, technology and communications, the growth story for India. This was a combination of executives dealing with media and entertainment, and also executives who are venture capitalists and who are investors in media-related companies. So this was a combination of people who invest in media and people who do media. So it was a very important meeting because the Prime Minister was able to hear from them what their expectations were from India. All of them said that India is the biggest market for them in terms of the phenomenal growth in entertainment channels, in terms of the youth in India, wanting more such content. And they asked for, speedier digitization of the Indian systems. After that, the Prime Minister had a meeting with the President of Guyana. Now, this was also a very important meeting. Guyana, as you know, has a large population of Indian origin also. He invited him to visit India, to which the President said that his last visit to India was 44 years ago. So Prime Minister said that he must visit India. He had come, in fact, he was a soldier at that time, and he had just come to India on a visit. So Prime Minister invited him to come to India. There was also a discussion on UN Security Council reform and how all countries needed to cooperate with each other more closely in order to effect the much needed reform of the Security Council. And there was also a discussion on the threat posed by terrorism. Then there were a series of bilateral meetings that Prime Minister had with leading CEOs of US-based companies. 42 of the world's leading CEOs of Fortune 500 companies were together in that one room. I was told that the net worth of all the companies put together is $4.5 trillion. So this itself tells you, how important this gathering was. There was general consensus that the Prime Minister, is effecting change in India. The only thing that all the CEOs said is, please make that change faster.